You're expecting this to start with one of those lame meme videos that I always do. Joke's on you though. No lame videos today. Ha! Also, yes, I'm wearing a hat. It's my emotional support hat. I will hear no slander towards the hat.
A few moments later.
What happened? I wasn't going to include any videos about, like, I wasn't going to do any of the lame meme videos, but then I've watched the debate and it kind of went like this.
911, anyone? 911.
Alright guys, in all seriousness though, I'm not entirely sure what went wrong in this motion. I'm really sorry that I couldn't be there last week Monday. I had an internet connection issue on my side. I'm not sure if perhaps the motion wasn't clear to proposition, or whether maybe you guys prepared the wrong side. I know that happens sometimes. I really wish that it hadn't happened on the day that Miss Joy was there to see you perform, because I know that you guys can do a whole lot better than this. So I am a little bit sad to see that if there was an issue with the motion, that it had to happen last week. But let's go through this to see what the call is going to be and why it's going to go that way. First things first, Proposition 1, Tin. I think it was Tin. You didn't state your name, but from the voice I'm guessing it was Tin that spoke. Again, I'm not sure what happened there, Tin. Your speech was like a minute long. There was really no argument, no structure, not a lot happening there. So I'm guessing something must have gone wrong on side proposition while you guys were preparing for this motion. I'm guessing that that's what happened here. There's not a lot that I can do with the first speech. It was way too short and didn't really set up the motion, didn't define the motion, didn't set up the debate, didn't present much of a case. Oru, as Speaker 1 for opposition, you come in and you bring two really solid points: a decline in quality of healthcare and then higher taxes for everyone. And that sort of like was the first real start of this debate. Patrick, again, I'm not sure, buddy, I'm not sure what happened there. You sort of started and it sounded like you were on the wrong side of the debate, and then you restarted, and then you made like one good point about private healthcare prioritizing profit, which is true, but you also then didn't go further than that. The speech sort of was a little bit all over the place. Speaker 2, opposition, Preem, you've done really nicely to build on what Oru had said, and then you bring in an additional point where you mentioned that once healthcare is perceived as free, you are going to see an influx of people maybe abusing that. If you can just go to the hospital for any little problem, then a lot more people are going to flood hospitals with any little problem. So it's a nice little additional point to bring in to the case that Oru had started. So structurally speaking, opposition are doing better here. Baibua, you bring the first really sort of relevant point that comes up for proposition. So when government is responsible for all healthcare, what that means is it splits the cost across society. And guys, that was kind of what this debate was about, because it's not free. It is that, you know, it's going to be state-sponsored, which means that it's the government's responsibility to take taxpayer money and distribute it differently, okay? Because it's not going to be free. Taxpayers are going to be paying for it, but there are ways in which governments can manage and budget Oryu mentions in his speech that defense budgets or education budgets might be impacted by this. So Baibua does mention that, you know, everybody's paying towards healthcare. That might make it a bit more of a fair system. But then again, by that time, it is too late. Proposition has failed to build any kind of case at this point in time. Then Trust comes in and recaps his. I mean, it's the easiest thing to then just calmly recap the case that opposition had built. So from a structural point of view and from an argumentative point of view, the call for this debate is going to go towards opposition. Guys, I'm a little bit concerned about the fact that you didn't seem to know how to manage this. There was clearly some kind of miscommunication or some kind of misunderstanding from side proposition. We are going to have to talk about being a little bit more serious in our performance, especially when we notice that something has gone wrong, to then as a team pull together and sort of try and salvage our case. So this debate is being called in favor of opposition. Proposition, hopefully you guys are going to be able to explain to me soon like how that happened, but we're going to close the case here, move on to the next one. We'll try and do better with the next debate.